Morning chaps, how the devil? Well look, it's everybody's favourite race-baiting victim, David Lammy. The biggest victim, despite the fact he's a millionaire and he's been on the public tit for decades and he went to a posh school and he's got power. He is the eternal victim. He whinges more than the woman that was in the pit on Silence of the fucking Lambs. If there is a man in politics who whinges as much as David Lammy on planet Earth, I've never seen him. He manages to make Justin Trudeau look manly, doesn't he? Justin Trudeau's an alpha male compared to David Lammy. I've never known a grown man cry as much. And, well, we'll see why. David Lammy, MP, criticises Twitter over death threat tweet. An MP has asked Twitter's CEO Jack Dorsey to explain himself after a police inquiry into a racist death threat was halted when the social media giant did not cooperate. Oh, it must have been bad. Although I will say, first of all, right, in the old days when you got a death threat, it was a big deal. For someone to take the time to cut up a newspaper into little squares like they used to do, right, glue them to another bit of paper, put the rubber gloves on and put it in an envelope and then actually deliver it to your house or put a stamp on it and go to the post office. That was a big deal. But those days have long passed. It was high effort to send someone a death threat in the 70s. Since the advent of social media, well, we've all had a death threat. I got this fantastic one off Shabazz, right? We've all had one. I get them weekly. I've had more death threats than Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie, if he could see my inbox, he'd shit himself and go, fucking hell, Matty. You want to calm down, son. Right? So, we've all had a death threat. It's meaningless. There should be a new rule, and it should be if it's not on paper and it doesn't come to your house, delivered inside a little brown bag full of burning dog shit. I'm sorry, but that doesn't count. Yeah, new cyber death threat. We need to get 500 cyber death threats to be worth one proper one. Yeah? I'm not trying to make light of it, but seriously, it takes 5 seconds to send one. There's 4 billion people online. It's too easy. Everyone listening to this, I'm sure you've had a death threat. We've all had them. It's not the same thing. It's not a big deal. Most people get them and most people tut and ignore them or delete them or do what I do and send threatening messages back to the wanker that's pestering them. The idea that a powerful millionaire politician should be crying into his cornflakes because he got a death threat on Twitter. How many followers has he got? Holy shit, 676,000 followers. I would expect at least 10,000 of them to be raving psychopaths. Right? If you just play the numbers games, at least 500 of them have got heads in the freezer. Right? This is what we're dealing with. So David, get a grip. And why? Why is he such a sweaty bastard? Look at that photo. Sweaty little sex pest. Bill Cosby didn't sweat that much when he was in court in Alabama and they brought the 30th victim in to tell them that he put a pint of Rohypnol in her weak cherryade and then fingered her. So, he's just sort of creepy, isn't he? That's disgusting. And he's got a perfectly round head. It just looks like a meatball that someone drew a fucking smiley face on with this permanent marker and then sort of sprayed with one of those little squirty bottles they use in the barber shop. What a sweaty bastard he is. I didn't sweat that much when I ran up Ben Nevis with a caravan strapped to my back. Anyway, nearly 700,000 followers. Stop whinging. If you've got 700,000 followers, at least 500 of them are maniacs. So calm the fuck down. But he does it because he knows it helps him, doesn't he? The Metropolitan Police said they've been unable to get details from Twitter on the account which sent the tweet to David Lammy. Mr. Lammy tweeted Mr. Dorsey asking why Twitter was shielding vile racists. Right, first of all, he told Jack Dorsey, one of the richest men on planet Earth, to explain himself like he was a naughty schoolboy. And I get annoyed when random Americans gob off about British political things. Like when Obama said, we're going to go to the back of the queue. I was like, hang on, it's got nothing to do with you, Lofty. Fucking do one back over across the pond and go and sort your own fucking country out. So I have to stick up now for my American chum, who I absolutely despise, by the way, Jack Doorstop. So let's not think I'm biased in any way. But Jack Doorstop is a rich, powerful billionaire who made his own money. And this little pipsqueak, a jumped up foreign twat from a random country across the pond who he doesn't even know his name. I mean, I'm sure Jack Dorsey doesn't even know who the guy is. What do you mean, explain yourself? If I was him, I would be like, straight away on Twitter, I'd reply on Twitter, I'd be like, wind your neck in, you random foreign scum. Like, what's it got to do with you? Unbelievable arrogance of these crybabies. So he said, why is Twitter shielding vile racists? Said it was cooperating with the police. The Met said, all lines of inquiry were explored as far as possible. However, due to the owner of the suspected social media account living outside the UK and the fact we were unable to obtain subscription details of the individual, we were unable to continue the investigation. So hang on a sec. So David Lammy, the woke Stasi, because one random foreigner, probably a teenager taking the piss, sent him a menacing message, he thinks we should stomp all over the civil rights of random strangers from halfway across the globe and fucking what, boot the door down? Are you having a laugh, David? Are you off your teeny tits, you sweaty little pipsqueak? Oh my God, the arrogance of these people. Please explain why you are shielding vile racists who make death threats. What was the actual threat? I want to see it. Oh, there we are, look. I've just been informed by Met Police they have dropped their investigation of this threat because Twitter have refused to assist in their investigation. Please explain why you are shielding vile racists who make death threats on your platform. I'm hanging from a... Alright, so first of all, of course, you shouldn't be sending messages like that to politicians. But not really an explicit threat, is it? He said, you'll hang from a lamppost if you're not careful. Well, it's not an explicit threat, that, isn't it? It's not him. A death threat would be, I will kill you and I will hang you from a lamppost. That's not really a death threat. That's just sort of like some young thruster making a bit of a racist comment that sounds ominous. I don't think that's a full-blown death threat, right? Or have I just got a high tolerance because I get people threatening to murder me so often? Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe I have that many people who want to cut my balls off. I just have a high tolerance for these things. But to me, it's not really an explicit threat. So there he is, playing the victim. Wah, wah, wah. I'm upset, therefore fuck everybody's rights. Tom O'Callaghan, so strange they dealt with my issue within minutes. But they haven't sorted yours out. Well, what was yours? If he does not join, I'm going to find you and I will kill you, cut you into pieces, I'll feed you to a dog, then I will kill the dog. See, that's a death threat. There you go, that's how you do it. That, David, is a death threat. If you want to know what a real death threat looks like, look up Kazi Gazi. Fucking hell. See, he's even going to kill the dog. That's a death threat not only to the individual, but the dog that is unfortunate enough to eat the individual. Right? You shouldn't laugh, but again, did that scare him? Probably not. It wouldn't scare me. It's Twitter. It's a sewer. You get used to it. Well, unless you're a girly man like David Lammy, playing the victim, because it's good for your fucking politics, because it's good for votes. Look, wow, how is this legal? Because we have rights, Shelley. And just because you might get a tiny bit upset doesn't mean the fucking entire world has to scramble the A-team and then cave my shit locker in because you're upset. That's not how the world works. Yeah, honestly, these people are so fucking pathetic, it disgusts me. Like, their weakness makes me hate them. You know when you're a man and you're just dead uncomfortable when men cry? I hate seeing men cry. I remember seeing my brother-in-law cry about fucking 5 or 6 years ago. It was like, being British, I can proudly say, British men, we don't cry, do we? And he started crying, and I just didn't know what to do. Like, I was proper, like, ugh. He sort of looked at me, and I was like, ugh. Like, I'd be less disgusted if he just dropped his drawers there and then and, like, coiled out a foot of brown cable on my fucking living room floor. Like, that, it's just not something I want to see. Thank you very much. Anyway. Yeah, so that just made me sick. And it doesn't do him any harm, does it? Doesn't do him any harm. Look at that. 76% majority in the 2010s. So what have we learned from this filthy debacle? Well, 3 things. 1, David Lammy is a disturbing, sweaty little pissant who is repellent and has absolutely no shame whatsoever. Highly educated, millionaire, powerful, but he'll stomp on you. You're a 13-year-old who sends mean quips on Twitter. He will have you up against the wall. If he can, he will bend the powers of the British state and the Metropolitan Police, whose fucking time he's completely wasted. Wasting police time over a kid sending a daft message. He's detestable in a dozen different ways. Secondly, we've learned it's great politics, because he smashes it every time he runs in an election. And third of all, we've learned that we should be terrified if these people get real power and take over the country, because they do not care about your civil liberties at all. Like, I'm not advocating being mega rude to people on social media. I am advocating having a spine. But what I'm saying is, even if you send someone a message like that, you've got rights. That we shouldn't be acting like this kid is a serial killer. It's not Harold Shipman. It's a teenager sending nasty letters. Sorry, nasty virtual messages, which is about 50 times removed from sending a nasty letter. So why doesn't everybody get a grip, move on with their fucking lives, and just treat David Lammy with the scorn and contempt he deserves? No need to send him any messages. Just have quiet loathing for him like me. Let me know what you think. Seriously, do you think getting a death threat on social media warrants anything other than possibly blocking them? I mean, a police investigation from the Metropolitan Police. Do me a fucking favour. Seriously. Unless, maybe it's just me. Let me know. If you think I've got a high tolerance for maniacs, maybe I'm being weird. But to me, everything about this story is disgusting. David Lammy loves playing the victim because it's political capital for him. And he should be fucking ashamed of himself, frankly. Wasting the Mets' time, having a go at a foreign billionaire, making out like it's the end of the fucking world when some knobhead sends him a shitty message on Twitter. I mean, everything about it sickens me. It's 2020 in a nutshell. It's the rich and the powerful making mountains out of molehills when they should have better things to do, like running the bastard country. And then when they are making the mountain out of the molehill, they then happily stomp all over people's civil liberties and show their authoritarian side for the entire world to see. What a disturbing fucking story, and what a disgusting, sweaty little man. That's me. Thanks for listening, guys. Cheers.